Good day, everyone. We're here with the new women's coach of Algoma Thunderbirds, Katie Hamilton. How are you, Katie?
Doing well, Jay. Thanks for having me.
We were talking off camera a litlittle bit, and I think we've known each other for a while now.
Go back a little ways there.
And before we get into, like you say, you came from Nipissing. Just talk a little bit about your past and how you got to this level.
Yeah, so I definitely have been around the block a time or two. My end goal was always to university basketball. That was from a very, very young age what my end goal was. So it's pretty hard to achieve that goal. Right out of university, I was, I guess, lucky enough or unlucky enough to blow my knee out pretty bad in my last year of university. But was lucky enough that I had a coach at UPI that welcomed me on staff right away. And got my hands on things and learned the ropes pretty early on in my early 20s. After that, Sault College had called and said they wanted to start their women's basketball program from scratch, or I guess rejuvenate it from scratch. And if I had interest in kind of leading the way with that, and I thought what better opportunity early on to lead that program, so I did, and so thankful for that opportunity and the things that I learned. Head coaching and assistant coaching are two different things.
Yep.
So to go from being the person that had the suggestions to be the person that actually had to make the decisions was a big eye opener for me. And left Sault College, I got the opportunity to be an executive director, technical director with basketball PEI.
So took you back down east again?
Took me back down east, and while I was doing that, I had the opportunity to coach at Holland College. So for me, it was really important to kind of hone my sport administration skills and leadership and executive role. And then still having the chance to be an assistant coach on a very good college program. So after my Holland College days, Chantal Vallée, like Chantal Vallée can do, pushed me pretty hard to jump on board as her full-time assistant. I said no a couple times, and then finally the phone call rang enough that I said yes to that. It was a very short-lived experience there at Windsor, although it was a fantastic one. But that was when the opportunity at Nipissing came to be. So thankful for my opportunity at Nipissing. So thankful that they took a chance on me. Can't say enough good things about the university. And
back to Northern Ontario.
That worked there. Back to Northern Ontario. Was closer to family and friends. And then left that. I guess it was 2 years ago now, a year and a half ago. All for personal reasons. My father passed away kind of unexpectedly, and thought it was, important for me to be home with family and friends. So at that point in time, thought I was hanging up the whistle for good, and had put my coaching career aside, and then here I am. Now I'm back here having interviews like this. So that's kind of the short synopsis of what led me. I guess what they say, like all roads lead home, and here I am. I can remember being in this room as a 8, 9, 10-year-old kid having pizza parties during camps. So doing something like that's pretty special for me.
And with Ryan Vitry, like say, being with the women's program for so long, decided with the departure of Coach EJ, moved over to the men's side, and with you taking, what's the biggest thing that attracted you to the position? Why did you apply?
Yeah, I think coaching in general. I think the time away was a healthy break. Like I just mentioned, I've been doing this at the university level for either a player or a coach for 20 years. So whenever you're doing something that long and so passionate about it and so involved, it takes a toll a little bit, right? And you get sort of frustrated with the little things and losing track of your why. And so the break was healthy for me, and I'd watched all the games. I don't know if you saw me in the corner there. I was at all the games, and the itch started, coming
Chomping
back as the games would go on, and so obviously when the coaching change happened at Christmas, I started getting the phone calls and the texts of what's going to happen, and honestly, I hadn't even thought about ever getting back into coaching because the opportunity I didn't think was going to be here, and I never had intentions of leaving now or going elsewhere. So started thinking about it, put some serious thought into it, and decided, the things that I was frustrated about coaching-wise and leaving was mostly because, I wasn't here. I wasn't surrounded by family and friends. I wasn't, able to go out for a Tuesday night dinner with the best friends that I've had since kindergarten, or, have Sunday dinners with my family. So when I weighed the pros and cons, the ability to do what I love, but still be here and do those things, ended up being a no-brainer for me to come and represent, a gym, a university, a campus that I grew up in.
And being in your own hometown. Right?
Hometown, yeah, I can't say enough about that. What that feels.
And for the girls that who are here, and for the girls that you're going to bring in, what is your vision for the women's program at Algoma?
Yeah, I mean, I think our end goal, and I said this to the girls as well, is I want to get to the spot where we're consistently, realistically pushing for a playoff spot. You know, I think having realistic goals within a program,
and that's huge.
It's huge, and I do think we can get there. You know, are we there right now? I'll be transparent with everybody. I've been transparent with the girls. We're not there right now, and so we need to get better internally, and the girls know that they've been asked to get better themselves over these next 4 months. And I have confidence that they will. We just actually had our first journal submissions. I have them submitting journals every Sunday to kind of trace where they are, and they appear to be putting in the work. So I'm pretty proud of them, and I think they know that there's an opportunity to grow and push themselves. And then we always need to get better externally as well with bringing people in. So I think if we do the right things, we will, hopefully be knocking on that door to be in some kind of playoff position, and that would be the ultimate end goal for us.
And you mentioned you're at Nipissing, so you're racking the. But how do you think Nipissing compares to Algoma, different wise?
Yeah, I think a lot of similarities, right? A small Northern Ontario school, and I think the similarities that are fantastic is it's the same vibe, same type of people. When you come here, you're going to have small class sizes. You're going to get to know your professors. You're going to get to know the staff that works here. Everybody's going to get to know your name. When you're in the grocery store, people are going to know you. Now there's pros and cons and good and good and bad to that.
If you have a bad game and they're a basketball fan,
or a bad night, or I said to the girls, it's 2 degrees of separation here, not 6. And that's similar to Nipissing in any small campus. So I think Coach Rachel at Nipissing, who coached under me, would say the same thing, that we have to bring in the right people. That sort of statement excites them, right? If I'm saying that to you and you're looking, to have a large nightlife of clubs and large population and big class sizes, the sell here isn't for you, and that's okay. But we are who we are, and we're proud of that, and I think it's attractive to the right recruit.
And then that's my next question is, when it comes to a small base school, is it a little challenge recruiting, trying to bring them to a smaller school?
I think everyone at any school would tell you that recruiting is a challenge. And there's different elements to the challenges at different places and wherever you are. And for us, it's just really a matter of finding the kid that wants to come into this environment. Vice versa, coming out of high school, I was recruited by some larger universities, and a small town kid from Sault Ste Marie, Ontario, I wasn't really attracted to that. So, there's the same problem at the other end. And so for me, it's really about connecting with the coaches of these players, people involved in their lives, and finding out which one of these players fits the realm and the mold of what we have here. So challenges, of course. I mean, we're not super close to any metropolis city, and wouldn't exactly say that we're close to where all the action is happening. So we definitely need to find ways to bridge that gap to find the athletes. I think over the years I've been lucky enough to be involved with Ontario basketball and Jewel and OSBA and Canada basketball, that I've forged enough positive relationships to be able to I don't need to necessarily drive to the Torontos and find these kids. I can pick up the phone and call a lot of people and have those conversations. So that's kind of what I'm in the process of doing right now.
And it's only been a month, more or less.
3 weeks, 3 weeks. I think 2 weeks is the rookie phase, and now I'm not a rookie anymore. So,
exactly.
Yeah, so week 3, so it's going well so far. I'm still here. I don't see anyone, giving me the door yet, so it's okay.
And not asking any secrets from your playbook, but for basketball fans and people who are going to come to watch the basketball, what can we expect offensively and defensively?
For me, that's all based on the personnel that we have. I don't to come in and say you have to play the way that I want to play, and it's not the best way of the personnel that we have on our court to play the game of basketball. I like a fast-paced game. I like a lot of freedom on the offensive end. I like a lot of read and react decision making. I'm not necessarily the coach that likes to come down the court and say, we're running play 3, and if somebody cuts right and they're supposed to cut left, everything's dead in the water. So a lot of versatility. And I do think that the players we have on board can adapt to that and see some changes with that. Working kids, I want hardworking kids that are passionate about the game, that want to be here, that want to be on the court, that want to work hard. I want the kid that's going to step in and take the offensive foul and the charge and be excited about it. I'm not a straight face, stone cold type of coach. I wasn't that way as a player. I want to see the fist bumps. I want to see the smiles. I want to see the excitement to be in the gym playing basketball, because at the end of the day, it's an opportunity that not everybody gets to have. So you're one of the blessed ones to have it. And while you're here, you might as well enjoy it.
And being from Sault Ste. Marie, you know what this city's like. It's a hockey community. And
no,
not at all, not at all.
It didn't change in the time that I was gone?
I've noticed it's got a lot bigger with basketball.
Okay.
I've noticed that. And that's something, as a coach, you want to try to sell your program also to the local community. And how do you do that to promote it?
Yeah, I think, hopefully, knock on wood, that people think, somewhat highly of me. I think I've worked really hard over the years to develop positive relationships with people in our community in a wide variety of sports and realms. I think my family was obviously very intertwined with the community and with sports. So again, everything I do, whether it be recruiting or our community, is all about relationships. And I think, and I alluded to it earlier in a funny way, but I do realize that I'm never off the clock with this position in this role. So when I'm in the grocery store, when I'm at a restaurant, wherever I am, I'm the head coach of Algoma University, and so whatever I do has implications.
Same with the players, right?
Same with the players. So I'm well aware of the the stakes that are involved with that, and how I need to represent myself on and off the court. And I think that's something I've always done. And so the community is sort of my biggest excitement around here. When I was in other places, still intertwined, but it's not home. So for me, when I go into a clinic, when I go into a camp, when I work with players here, even with the local players we have, coming next year, when I've been in the gym working with them, I've been able to say to them, I've been you, and that's not hearsay. It's not. I have literally been in their shoes. I'm going to be the person that I was in the camps that they were in. And so I think that's pretty neat for the athletes involved to have a visual of, she was me, and look what she's done, and look where she's gone. And you don't necessarily need to follow my pathway athletically, but hopefully I can provide the example of, if you have a goal, have a plan, execute it, and you can get to whatever level you want and whatever you want to pursue. And
somebody like use in high school, that a lot of the high school basketball players know, and that is a recruit, Ashton Noble, that Ryan was recruiting. Are we going to see Ashton on the roster still?
Yeah, so Ashlyn has been around, and so is Sadie Grauberger. Super excited about both of them. We've only been in the gym together for a week, and kind of already had some inside jokes and some good relationship building things. And I think the world of both of them in the first 5 days I've been on court with them. So I think Ash had a very good high school career, and everybody knows her. We've been working a lot on sort of honing some habits that she would get away with playing in our high school level that aren't going to be able to get away with at next level. And every time I teach her something, every time I say something, it's just being absorbed and implemented. She had a moment last week where we both stopped and fist bumped and gave a good high five, because it was something that she would have gotten away with playing high school basketball. I addressed it. It was like 2-3 plays later where she implemented it and was like, oh shit, that felt good, right? Like, I can see the difference with that. And Sadie Grauberger, I sent a message to an old coach of mine. I've been excited to be in a gym with a kid in a long time, as I am to see Sadie. Untapped potential and just God-given natural ability, body. So with her, it's about being patient, understanding the process. But if she is patient with it, I'm telling you, that kid by year 2-3 could be a real special player. So the two that are coming our way locally, work with, and can't say enough good things about them as players, but more importantly, super excited by the way they've reacted to coaching and working hard. So it's all good there.
And then you get second year Mizuka, another suitcase. So 3 girls on the roster is huge, right? Yeah, right now 3, and obviously that's one of our recruiting strategies that I'm sure Ryan had in place, and I'll continue on. Is that if there is a kid that should be playing university level basketball within our city limits, I want them. I want to do what I can to get them here and give them this opportunity to build those relationships early. So, the more the merrier in that regard. I'll help in any way I can. And when I asked you to do the interview, this new recruit, like you say, wasn't public or didn't happen. Talk a little bit about your newest recruit and being 6'1". And
yeah. So Grace Silverthorne, super excited. I think I don't want to misquote, but I think it might be our first OSBA committed recruit, which is huge for us and kind of the lineage of girls basketball within Ontario. The OSBA league is definitely at the top. So a league that we want to continue to draw more players out of. So I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I didn't have intentions of bringing in 6, 7, 8 players once I got this job. I think we graduate some girls next year in natural attrition, and that'll sort of happen naturally. But we do need to get better, and watching the games, obviously there was a bit of a lack of size within the group. So one thing that I did want to address right away was that, but. Every coach in the country also wants to address that.
And for females, 6'1" is height, right?
Yeah, she's tall like me. She has the same body that I do. 6'1", 5'1", we're comparable. So she was a bit under the radar. Was supposed to be a kid that was hurt over the season, so had limited playing time, limited games. I think if she would have played more games and had a healthy season, that it might have been a different story for her and recruiting pathway, but. Jen Bourget, who's the coach of Llewellyn, was my coach growing up, and we're good friends to this day. And think highly of her. She's a mentor of mine. So when I got the position, gave me a call and said, there's a 6'1" girl available that I think could really help. So we had Grace up over the weekend. She loved the campus. She loved the school. Loved the academic side of things. Met with Dr. Molina, who we have on campus. Can't say enough good things there. And was like, I'm all in with this coach, so for us, figuratively and literally, it's a big get, and she'll have the opportunity to come in and make an impact right away.
And for people who don't know, can you talk a little bit about OSBA and what it is?
Yeah, so the OSBA is actually, I was involved in kind of the onset of it. So it's an Ontario basketball driven prep league within the province. So athletes have to be housed out of the same school within the city in which they're playing. And then that school, that team plays within the realm of this league. So it is a big jump for players where, you're making a move city-wise and, you're building and stuff like that. So everybody, it definitely is a much higher level of competition overall within the league. So you get a bit more refined players coming out of it. So then you would go Jewel. So the Jewel League kind of is a step under. That might be debatable, but going into the OSBA League, and you have your U18 or U19 club and your high school league. So, for instance, like in Ashley and a Sadie, they're kind of jumping some rungs of the ladder, right, with where they're going. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing, that says they can't get where they need to be. But their biggest challenge will be that overall level of competition. That just can't be met, right? So pros and cons to all different sides of the fence and things that can be fixed. So it's just a different level of competition.
And you mentioned going back, the two girls coming in, Noel and Grauberger, where it comes to their dedication, their talent, and the way OUA is, they can probably make that jump without doing it, right?
Yeah, I think with them, the biggest thing, and I've talked to both of them about this, so it's nothing they haven't heard from me. They just need to be patient. They just need to be patient. They need to understand there's going to be bumps on the road, right? Somebody like Ash has had a lot of success. She probably hasn't, gotten things handed to her very often.
If she doesn't fall out, she's probably seen most of the floor time, right?
Right. So, how do you handle 2 turnovers in a row? How do you handle being blocked twice in a row? How do you handle those things? How do you know that I'm going to trust you through those things, and I'm going to trust you, you're going to trust me, and it's all going to be okay? And what's your reaction to it is kind of the learning process for them right now. But like I said, from all the things that I've seen, they'll be more than fine.
And we're in early May. So she's still got a few months. Are we going to see a few new faces still?
We might. Yeah, I'm definitely talking to some people. Again, I want to make sure that it's the right fit with the right people. Part of my recruiting strategy and kind of what I'm trying to tap into a little bit is across the border. Definitely trying to get a little bit into the UP and the Michigan realm of things. We're obviously allowed 3 international players on our roster, and I know there's a ton of really good basketball that's very close to us. and oftentimes those kids are being overlooked on their side
And
of
mostly
things.
from the UP, right?
Right, because they're from those small towns. So maybe overlooked in Div 1, Div 2 schools, but for us would be a tremendous help that would allow them to continue on with their basketball career. So have some feelers out there and having some conversations that, I think it's a good opportunity for them, a good opportunity for us. So part of the recruiting avenue and tactic that I would like to veer down a little bit in the next couple months.
And when it comes to that, we're not talking politics, but with the way the dollar is right now, and them coming here compared to go to a school in the States, they're saving money, right?
For sure. And every U.S. Person this outside of athletics is domestic. So for them with no international fees and coming here and having that opportunity considered student-wise as a domestic would be huge for them. So I think that's a bit untapped for us right now. And I mean, obviously it's not an easy thing, but I am trying to get into that because I think it would be vital for our success.
And for somebody maybe who's watching from what we call across the river in Michigan, is there bursaries and grants or funding for that they can apply for being international?
Yeah, I think that there's a couple different avenues that they can take, and obviously athletically we have some resources to help them out. So there'd be some financial gain for them, I think, and it would be a good situation for them.
And again, being only here 3 weeks, but as a basketball coach, what are your expectations for fall of 2023?
Yeah, I think to get better, right? Again, we need to be realistic and we need to be honest with ourselves, but we need to get better. And so if that doesn't happen, then we're going to have to make it happen one way or another. So all of the girls have been told. I think there was a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of stress when I came in as to, it was a rough season. So is she going to come in and clear house? Where's my spot? And I made it really clear to them that they're being given this year, if they so choose, to come in and prove themselves and to be better. And, if we don't, then obviously decisions will have to be made. But if we do see that improvement, then, that respect is gained and earned. So, we will be better. We will be more competitive. Hopefully we'll get into the win column. And again, you win a couple games here and there, get momentum going. You never know what that playoff push can look like. And I know that's a big jump, but people have called me crazy before, so we can, I can keep the crazy label. You never know. You never know what happens when the ball gets rolled out. And I do think the additions to her program, and in Sadie, in Ash, and in Ella, as well as Grace coming in, those are 4 good gets for us. Those are 4 good gets that are really going to help us immediately skill wise, and all of their personalities are very, I want to win, I want to compete. So. Super happy with those 4 in the recruiting class that we have so far. Grace coming in with us, but then what Ryan did previously set us up to be much better.
And for basketball fans, and like I said, I don't know how Ryan will take this question, is when they walk into the George Leach, they sit in the stands, they're used to looking over the bench, and to the right it's Ryan Vitry. Mm-hmm. And the Ryan Vitry era is done. Now it's the Katie Hamilton era. What can we expect when it comes to culture for the team, but also what the fans can expect? Yeah,
well, for the team first, and this is something we sort of went through at Nipissing. I've been a part of kind of changing a culture before, and think I did a reasonably okay job. The first thing is monitoring our bench. So before we ever watched any game film there, and this will be mimicked here, is I didn't actually have the camera on the court. I had the camera on our bench. And after the games, before the games, and our game film sessions, we weren't breaking down what we were doing basketball-wise. We were breaking down what our bench actions looked like, what our personalities looked like, what our body language was. Because to me, if that isn't in the right direction, then things on the court are not going to go in the right direction. So little things like that to change the culture. I'm definitely, I'd like to say, an overtly positive person, but I do have expectations and standards for our athletes, and if they aren't meeting those, then it'll be well known. And community-wise, I just hope that the community, just like I'd say to a recruit, I hope the community takes a chance on us. Come back out. I was at the games this year, community. Sault Ste. Marie community, I love you, but there weren't a lot of people there, right?
But I go back, I've been doing this, streaming them for a couple of years. This year to me was one of the bigger, I know COVID, everything, but fan-wise was bigger than what has been in the past.
So get out, get out, take a chance on us. I think that having in a small town, the community and the fans play such a huge role. I do want to roll out a couple kind of fan-driven things and get them more involved with our program. And to anybody that ever wants to talk to me, have a conversation with me, come watch one of our practices, talk to the girls, just reach out. Don't hesitate. I want everyone within our community involved. It's sort of the community's team. But take a chance, come out, watch a game, see the environment, see us, see me, with the girls, and then, obviously make the decision to come back or not come back. But, the more people that we have in those stands, the better off it is for us.
And as a coach, how do you help? Again, the main reason they're here is school. Sometimes some athletes don't see that. But as a coach, how do you help them with life, with the academic and the basketball side of things?
Yeah, and for me, and track record wise, while I was at Nipissing, I think it was over 75% of our team's academic Canadians. I just said to Grace and her parents over the weekend, if I were to ever win an OUA championship, my greatest day as a coach is still the day that they walk across the stage and graduate. Like that is a no-brainer for me. There's no gray area there. I understand the importance of my own post-secondary education, my education in general. And I know that if I didn't have that piece of paper in my hand, that none of these opportunities would have been provided to me. I can't say I was ever, truly, an academia type of person, but if I didn't get that, I wouldn't be here. So it is truly, genuinely the most important part of this experience. And I hope they can look at me and mimic that. And so absolutely the academic side of things come first, and really being in this role, it is really about helping them through life. It's probably 30% basketball and 70% life, and that's why I like it. I was just in a previous job for the last 14 months or so that wasn't as hands-on dealing with that, and took a toll on me because I just felt like I was kind of going through the daily routine. So to be back in an environment where I know my impact on people's lives is making a difference is what I want for myself professionally and personally, and it's what this role provides.
And that's one thing, again, they don't understand at this age, but 10 years from now, they come back and they shake your hand and say, thank you, Katie Hamilton. That's probably one of the biggest things. Right?
Yeah, I've been at some baptisms and some weddings and some conversations because I've been doing this for a while now, and so definitely had the chance to be involved in people's now adult lives, and for them to come back and tell the funny stories of, remember the time you made us do this and the time we did that, and but thank you for the impact and what you taught me, and that's kind of what brought me back in a way. There was some former players that reached out and said, hey, what are you doing? Like, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here or there, and you got to get back into this kind of thing. And when you hear that, it makes you more inclined to jump back in.
And they don't expect that's what they're going to do years down the line, but
yeah,
it says you did something right for them.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm still really good friends with a lot of my former coaches. Eddie was here in the gym the other day helping me out, and so I appreciate the coaches that I had role in my life and what they did to get me here, and so it's my job to give that back and to mimic that positive person.
And as a coach, what's the biggest thing? How do you divide the role model compared to the coaching? How do you divide that?
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be divided. I think part of what I'm proud to represent is that positive female role model and presence, and I do think it's so vitally important for these girls to see a female succeeding in a male-driven environment. And that's not to say I don't think that the coaching should be sacrificed to fulfill with a female role. That's not what I'm saying. But for them to have that visual of somebody that succeeded is truly important to them, and I think it goes hand in hand, the coaching and being a role model. I think we're dealing with a different kind of athlete these days, and part of me gets a little bit frustrated. I hear the conversations and the debate, and of this generation of kids is this and that, and it's not the old school ways. And my take on that, my opinion on that is man, we can't fight that. We can't
right?
change a generation. So you can go crazy and bang your head against the wall saying these kids aren't the old school ways. But how do we take the values that is in this generation? How do we take the value that is in these kids and bring it out the most? And it does need to change your coaching style. Like I said, Eddie was in the gym with me the other day, and we were laughing because some of the things that pushed me and motivated me and that era would be very much frowned upon now. It's
probably wouldn't have a coaching job, right?
You wouldn't have a coaching job, right? Like we were talking about, used to line people up on the line to sprint, and I had to kind of step aside, and I wasn't fleet of foot, put it that way. So he used to then make me run and he'd pull out the calendar. So everybody else was timed with a stopwatch. I was being timed with the flipping of the month calendar, right? And it's something that my mother still kills herself laughing about when she tells the story, right? Like it was, but if that happened now, it wouldn't go over as cordially, right? So we can't fight what we have. I think we just need to change our coaching style, and I think I've done a decent job of adapting to that and that way, while still maintaining discipline and respect, but doing it in a way that works for them.
And the big one thing, again, this is for all recruits that you're looking at, but being from Sault Ste. Marie, now coaching a Sault Ste. Marie team, what do you say to the girls graded 10 to 12 in Sault Ste. Marie on how they could possibly work themselves onto a roster spot down in the future?
Yeah, challenge yourself. I think challenge yourself, play at the highest level possible that you can, play as much basketball as you can. I think one of the gaps may be that you need to kind of immerse yourself into a full 12-month program, right? Things like the Jewel programs, things like the OSBA programs, that's where they're doing things a little bit differently, is that, those things are all encompassing. So experiencing a weight program, an off-court program, mental performance program. And so when they jump to the next level, the length of the season and having to go through those things isn't shocking to them. They've been through it. And so I really think it's important, if you're a local athlete or an athlete that isn't necessarily exposed to those things, to dive in and try to mimic your training as much as possible with a university program. So, are you on a full year weight program? Are you doing your conditioning? And most of all, come talk to me. Like if there's anyone out there in Sault Ste. Marie right now that has aspirations of playing post-secondary basketball, whether it be here or elsewhere, mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa, child, come talk to me. Right now we, have Lucy LaFrance who's going to end up staying training in our gym. And I'm so happy to see her and so happy to help train her. Like the more the merrier to me. I just want to help these kids. I want to help get them where they need to be, whether it's us or somewhere else. So, don't be shy to reach out to me and ask for help in how to get there. I'd be happy to help anyone I can.
And the final question, it's been 9 years since you've coached, like say in Sault Ste. Marie.
Yeah.
What's it going to be like come the fall when you step on the court as the head coach?
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun experience. Like I said, I never thought I would be back here and doing this, but it was funny. I had somebody from YBC. I grew up in YBC basketball. That was my lineage and kind of how I got into things and passionate about it. And if you're familiar with YBC, Mr. Gibbs, who ran the program forever and ever and ever, and is probably the greatest man and influence I've ever come across. And Cindy, a friend of mine now, who was a volunteer there and helped him out with the program, when she saw our schedule had commented, I'm going to pick Mr. Gibbs up and come to the game. And to me, I was like, that's going to be cool, to look up.
A mentor.
Yeah, like that. That's why I'm here. So yeah, looking forward to it. It'll be super special. Like I said, anyone, please take the chance on us, come out, support us, comes to me, and hopefully we're providing a little entertainment and most of all, hopefully our girls are providing that positive experience and positive role models for kids in our community. And
one thing is, you mentioned a few times about making the playoffs. It's probably would be the first time that a basketball program here at Algoma would make it. What would that mean?
If we can get that, that'll be huge. Not if, let me reword that. When we get there, it'll be huge, and we will get there. I don't know if it'll happen next year, possibly, but in my time here, we will get there. We will do that, and when that moment comes, it'll be huge for us. But I'm also very well aware, very intertwined, have a great deal of respect for all of our alumni that has taken a chance on us before this moment. So a huge moment for us, but what a huge moment for them, and I hope they're around to experience it because. This program was built on the backs of a lot of amazing young women, young players that are now doing such successful things professionally, personally, and that moment would really be theirs. Maybe we execute it, but there's a lot of people intertwined, and Ryan's done an absolutely terrific job here with this program. I've known him for years and years and years and years and years. Coached against him for years and years and years and years, and I can't say enough good things about what he's done here and his commitment to the program and our city. So it's not like I'm taking over a program that was in shambles and led by maybe somebody that I don't have a lot of respect for. Totally the opposite. So we're not starting at ground zero. I'm filling the shoes of somebody that did a really good job. So it's making things a little bit easier.
And the saying that we hear in sports, it's not just basketball. It's more came from baseball, Field of Dreams, but you build it, they will come, right?
If you build it, they will come. Yeah, man, I think they built that weight room upstairs just so I have to get back on the
Because it wasn't here when you
it wasn't. I blew my knee out and I was doing my rehab in the equipment that was in the corner there when you first walked in. That's where I rehabbed. So when I walked upstairs and saw the gym that we had, I was like, oh, now I got to get back on things.
That's a selling feature as a coach.
Oh,
too,
huge,
right?
yeah, huge selling feature. Yeah, it's beautiful facility. So whenever the girls complain about anything facility wise, I'm like, no, you don't know what it was like when it was early on in the years. So
you had four corners of the gym where you had one piece here, one piece here.
Oh yeah, we were playing that first court was the main court, and it had just the sport court down.
Yeah.
Like there's still pieces of my body that are down there on that court. So the facility and what we have is something I won't be taking for granted. Put it that way.
Well, thank you very much, and good luck in the fall.
Thanks, Jay, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.